studying music, I just had a guitar and I used to sing loads of Oasis.
Really?
Yeah. Oasis was the reason I started to play guitar. Through Oasis I got into like the Beatles, and through Beatles I got into Bob Dylan.
Oh. And Bob Dylan, folk song from the
music.
20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all kind of progression. Like usually I'll be sort of obsessed with one song.
Well, which one is it this week?
It's an old folk song actually by, I can't remember who it's by, but the recording is by a woman called Isla Cameron. I think it was first collected in like 1938.
Oh, to hear the small birds sing, and the lambs to skip and play.
Maybe I'll try to sample it, or I'll try and be inspired by the melody or by the mood of the song or what it's about. And so that will be like kind of like a spring, like a pool where I can take stuff out of it.
And the lambs to skip and play.
I'll just write chords for it.
For the
singing, and then I'll use those chords and I'll take it away from what she's singing and do something completely different, but it still has that kind of the same structure or the same key. You know, maybe it's a minor song or it's modal or whatever. So I'll just take that. The melodies are much more ornamented, and this is with like the ornamentation in the melodies is still a lot more traditional. Whereas I think in the 60s it kind of like flattened it out a bit more, made it a bit more poppy. And I think that ornamentation makes it really weird to listen to for people who aren't used to it, because it just sounds like whoa. But yeah. And then I have it with so most of the time I'm just trying to kind of show people, I'm not trying to show people, but I'm kind of trying to say like, it's not that weird, the music, you know? The original kind of folk music is kind of, it's just,
because
it's the origin of like pop music, really.
Yeah, but you can't do anything with it.
But you can do anything with it, and it's kind of reimagining it. Someone showed me the software first and said, look what you can do, we can sample stuff. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then he showed me a few things, and then I sort of got the software and was doing it as well by myself. The software is kind of like learning a new instrument. And I was at a stage with my guitar, for example, where if I was feeling a certain way, I would just start playing. It would be totally natural. I wouldn't really have to think about too much what I'm playing. It would just happen very naturally. And I'd like to be in a position where I can do that with the software. I can just sit down and start straight away. I have to be quite self-critical. Sometimes
because you
I'm
work
alone.
alone.
Yeah. I guess everyone has that who works alone. Essentially, I'm listening to the same 3 or 4 minutes all day, and then I can't hear if I'm doing something.
Yeah.
If what I've worked on is now better or worse. And because I'm listening to it so often, I become desensitized to it. I don't feel anything towards it anymore, and then I'm like, well, I start questioning it, you know, it's like, is it still any good? And then that's where I sort of have to take a step back and not listen to it for a week or two and start something else. And that was good actually. A friend of mine who makes music, he told me to do that. He said, don't just work on one thing. Have like 3 or 4 things to work on. And if you get stuck with something, don't tear your hair out of it. Start on something else. And that's kind of helpful. It was easier when I had a band, and now it's sort of like, well, this is my music.
Yeah.
Please don't hate me. Also living in Berlin, there's a lot of dance music here. So that's just kind of an influence. You go out clubbing, you hear a lot of music. And I guess it just happens naturally, you know? Like you don't really choose your influences that much. Marlais is the middle name of Dylan Thomas, who is a Welsh poet. With Marlais I didn't think of anything, and I kind of like that kind of neutrality. I always tried to make music that's kind of on that line between like melancholic and euphoric, like trying to get that moment, you know, when you see something really really beautiful, and you have that kind of moment where you're like taken aback, and you kind of left, yeah, breathless, I suppose, or this kind of moment, and it's yeah, just so that heartbreak moment. It's kind of like a inside kind of happiness.